I want to be the president who educated young children to the wonders of their world.
In 1928, a young school teacher in Cotulla, Texas, wrote a letter home to his mother, asking her to send 200 tubes of toothpaste.
I want to be the president who helped the poor to find their own way.
His students, he explained, lacked the most basic necessities.
And who protected the right of every citizen to vote in every election.
His name was Lyndon Baines Johnson.
I want to be the president who helped to end hatred among his fellow men.
I think his vision and values were shaped by the land that he came from.
So he understood firsthand what poverty was and what lack of education would cause people's lives to not be complete.
Daddy was a teacher first, foremost, and always, but he was also a student at the Congress.
He would go on to be elected to the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, where he would serve as Majority Leader. In 1963, Vice President Lyndon Johnson was catapulted into the U.S. presidency.
All I have, I would have given gladly not to be standing here today.
Lyndon Johnson would never forget his students in Cotulla and all the others he met along the way to the White House.
This is a man who truly wanted to make a difference in his world.
He wanted to do anything he could to level the playing field.
Just 5 days after he was sworn in as president, Lyndon Johnson appeared before a joint session of Congress urging members to enact a civil rights bill.
No memorial oration or eulogy could more eloquently honor President Kennedy's memory than the earliest possible passage of the Civil Rights Bill for which he fought so long.
It was the first comprehensive civil rights legislation in the United States since 1875.
The key to his success, the ability to work across the aisles.
The quote he used to say all the time from Isaiah, "Come, let us reason together." The thought that we can solve these problems together.
He would get people who didn't want to reason together, to find reasons it was in their best interest to do so.
The Johnson treatment is sort of a one-on-one of him dealing with people, and he would get right in someone's face.
Once he got you in his sights and he needed your help to pass a legislative program, you were a goner, because Lyndon Johnson was not going to take no for an answer.
Lyndon Johnson was a doer. Lyndon Johnson was a people person. The phone was his constant friend and pal. If he were alive today, he would want 2 or 3 or 4 cell phones going at once.
But don't beat me on that now. You can do it if you want to. You're a hard bargainer. Well, you get them for me. Now,
He knew he had the power, and he wanted to make a more just society.
My first job after college was as a teacher. It never even occurred to me in my fondest dreams that I might have the chance to help the sons and daughters of those students and to help people like them all over this country. But now I do have that chance, and I'll let you in on a secret. I mean to use it.
Over the next 5 years, President Johnson would sign into law more than 1,000 pieces of legislation.
He wanted to make this a great society for all of us, and Daddy didn't do things in small measures.
There are so many people whose lives have been transformed because of laws that were passed as part of the Great Society programs. His accomplishments in civil rights, in immigration reform,
The scholarship programs,
Job Corps,
the environment,
Medicare,
the Voting Rights Act,
the National Endowment for the Arts,
the Head Start program,
the Clean Air Act,
Medicaid,
the Higher Education Act.
I think he would tell you the Voting Rights Act was the most important and the most significant because he knew that if every citizen had the opportunity to participate in the political process, the other benefits would flow.
Lyndon Johnson was the greatest legislator that ever occupied the White House and became the most powerful president in perhaps the history of the United States as far as passing legislation.
After leaving the White House, President and Lady Bird Johnson returned to their Texas ranch. Their focus was now on building a presidential library that would preserve the records of the past and a school that would educate a new generation of public servants.
This library will show the facts, the story of our time, with the barcode.
It's that bark off that makes us a unique institution. Lyndon Johnson wanted scholars to see everything in his administration. He didn't want to hide anything.
And you and everybody else that sees that legacy can make your own judgment about it, give it your own grade.
It's almost incalculable, the progress that was made at that time and that he oversaw.
He accomplished so much that makes America what it is today. The legacy of what he did is amazing.
President Johnson didn't want this institution just to look back. He wanted it to look forward and to address the pressing issues of our time and beyond.
The LBJ Foundation supports the LBJ Library and Museum and the LBJ School of Public Affairs at the University of Texas.
Johnson wanted the school to be a place where young people could come and study public policy, but he wanted it to also be a launch pad for young men and women to get involved.
I'm inspired by our students. I see the school as the living legacy.
Every student here and faculty too feels like that they want to change the world in some way.
At LBJ, everybody has a sense of urgency. I've got to get out so that I can do something to impact the community, and that's where I'm at.
Our job is not only to give them the skills, but give them the vision and the understanding of how they can use their talents to really do something special.
Lyndon Johnson believed in the possibilities, not the impossibilities of life, and that was very much at the heart of who Lyndon Johnson was.
I hope it may be said 100 years from now that by working together, we help to make our country more just for all of its people. I believe at least it will be said that we tried.